It is go time!
What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Smoke and Meteoras, the podcast I messed up my whole intro. The podcast where we talk about the moments that matter and the struggles the talents face on the rise. My name is Marissa, and today I am joined by none other than All Go Nelli. Thank you so much for joining this week. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Not too bad. I know all the stuff still said noon, but we're here. It's 2:30, and we are ready to go. So I start all of these interviews off the same way, and that
Absolutely.
is with this question. And what is the dumbest thing you have done for wrestling?
Oh, what's the dumbest thing I've done for wrestling? Um, that is a good question. I'll probably say, I do a traffic guard gimmick, and I came out with a crossing guard vest, like an actual one. I just looked like a sad biker. It didn't look cool at all. That's probably the dumbest thing I've ever done.
All right. So let's go back to the very beginning. Before you had ever stepped foot in a ring or even trained, um, were you always someone who had that go, go, go type of energy?
Sort of. I do like to hustle. I do like to work as hard as I can and make the best of every moment here. Always in the gym. So sort of, I think, the go mentality is now kind of like a leader as well, like stop, you don't quit, you just keep going no matter what.
So what first pulled you into wrestling?
Just a bunch of my friends were talking about it, in the playground, and one day I decided I was just scrolling through TV one day and I found wrestling on TV. It was SmackDown, and I was hooked ever since. And I watched it. I wasn't really watching a lot of sports back then. And once I saw that, I was like, you know what, this is the sport I want to do.
So what did wrestling represent for you at that time in your life?
I think it just represented, like two people going at it, to see who's the better person. I've always been a fan of fighting, whether it's like a cartoon, real life, like there's just something interesting about combat sports.
So was this more of something that you were trying to chase for something specific, or were you just kind of following a feeling of getting into wrestling?
I think I feel I just want to be a part of wrestling. I don't really have like anything like exact. I know like wrestling to me was just so cool, and I saw so many people doing it like on TV. I was like, I want to be one of those people.
So let's step into taking the first step and getting into training. What was the first step into training like for your first day? Just seeing how everything really worked.
I think it definitely hurts a lot more than it looks. Even hitting the ropes, I remember like the my back was just covered in marks after like that first week, and I thought that was going to be like a weekly thing. Um, I did amateur wrestling for about 8, 10 years, and my body hasn't been more banged up. Like professional wrestling just takes a toll on you. So I think just seeing how everything works changes your mindset, but feeling how everything works too, is changes your body.
So would you say that those were like what surprised you the most when it came to actually starting out, or is there something else that surprised you a bit more?
I think honestly the biggest thing that surprised me was just how small the wrestling world is. Like when you're a fan, you dream of seeing all these wrestlers one day. Then as soon as you become a wrestler, you see them every week. I've met Tony Atlas. I've seen Real One. Um, Bumped into Andrade. It becomes such a small world once you like actually get into the business. I think that was more of the shocker to me.
So when you walked in, did you feel prepared, or were you just kind of figuring it out on the fly for yourself?
I mean, I walked in. There was only a few people there. Mario Mancini told me to get in the ring, take that bump. It felt like pressure, because you hear all the stories of people quitting wrestling, like especially early, because what it does to your body, what it does to your mentality and stuff like that. And it was like I don't want to be looked at as a guy who's gonna give up and quit. Like I kind of had like that quarter life crisis, and I said, there's no going back after this.
So was there a moment where you felt like you were in over your head and wanted to walk away?
I think between the driving, I work every day, and my job is grueling. With um being up so early to go do a couple fitness classes, and then staying to practice, sometimes till 10, 11 midnight, and waking up early and doing it again. It's definitely takes a toll, and you feel I feel like everyone reaches a point in their career where they're like, dang, like what do I have to do next? What should I do next? And even so young into my career, I'm not like I feel like it's just like I know I haven't done everything I could yet, but it's like what do I have to do to move on? What do I have to do to move to that next step? And I'm still, kind of trying to figure that out.
So how do you push through that?
Like I said, I just remind myself, I haven't been working matches, for 2 years yet, but I've had so many, I've had so many. But like when you look at people that you started wrestling with, when you look at people who you've been training with, and you see like other people's success, you see them doing big shows and stuff like that, wrestling cool opponents. Not saying I haven't wrestled anyone cool, but like they get to wrestle a former WWE superstar, they get to wrestle current TNA, AEW star, like I definitely want to be a part of that group, and it's just like what do I have to do?
So what does momentum mean to you in the wrestling world?
I mean, that's why I'm here right now. I just I actually don't be mad at me. I literally just did a podcast 30 minutes before this. Momentum is just doing whatever and whenever you can. Being on social media as much as you can, getting those bookings. I've had a booking. Fortunately, my booking this week just got canceled, but I up till now I had a booking every week this year, and I've been thankful for that. Like some people don't get booked every month. Some people get booked once a month. And I'm again like I think I'm just that person that always craves more.
So what do you think is harder, starting momentum or maintaining it?
That's a good question. Um, I I would probably say starting because it's definitely tough, especially when you're from New England and there's so much competition. Down the road from you. I think we have so many schools, so many promotions. So many legends, so many people that come to the area. It's tough to find a spot that's gonna to find a spot. You know, but I definitely do think like keeping momentum can definitely be up there. You have a little downslope, like a little bit. Someone's gonna catch up. Like I said, there's so much competition here. Like New England, tri-state area, New Jersey, New York. PA. Like, you don't want to slip out.
So, how do you keep going when things slow down or don't go your way?
You just have to remind yourself that, like, contracts aren't made in a day, contracts aren't made in a year, and you have to remind yourself of people like, how long did it take AJ Styles to get to WWE? Not saying he didn't have a fantastic New Japan and TNA career, but if your goal is to make it to WWE, just look how long it took people like Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, people like those to actually get there. Or even if you're in, look at the people who are in there, how long it took them to finally get there one moment. But also, I mean, like, just remember, like, how fun and how adventurous the indies can be. That's my main goal right now, is just to have as much fun on the indies as I can. Um, you know, and make a name for me out there.
So, what is something that helps you to reset and keep going?
That helps me reset.
Something that helps you to reset and keep going.
Um, I'm very big on going for long drives at night. Listen to music. That's something for me. Sleep. Like I said, I think the hardest part of being a wrestler, maintaining a job, going to training, going to gym, work, traveling over weekends is we get lack of sleep. And you know, the one thing your the one thing you want your body to do is just keep going. Sorry, it's a truck coming by, my bad. Um, like I said, the one thing you want your body to do is to just keep going, but you forget that you're a human being. That you need to actually like sleep, you need to actually eat, you need to take care of your man. And I feel like once you rest up, like your body reset, you're able to keep going.
So, let's get a little bit more into your career and what some of those matches have meant to you. But what is a moment in your career that hit you harder than you expected?
Um, that match would be against Charles Mason. At, wrestling no big gauntlet. Um, I I've met Charles a few times before, and I finally got to wrestle him. And I knew who he was. Everyone knows who he is. I think everyone, like he's a big top star. And it wasn't seconds before the match when he was currently the House of Glory champion that I realized I was wrestling the House of Glory champion, and I was like, damn, like it's kind of crazy. And that was literally a year of matches wrestling him. Top GCW, top House of Glory guy. That was when I was like, okay, now we're starting to like make some noise.
So, have you I just backed out. Have you had a match where you walked away feeling completely different about yourself?
That's a good question. Have I had a match where I walked away feeling completely different about myself? Um, I think in those clips, I had that match with Sammy Diaz, and I was very proud of that match. I had fun in it. He had fun in it. I think again wrestling a guy of his caliber, was great. And again, I know I said I want to wrestle, top guys like from AEW and TNA, but there's also top indie guys. There's top indie, a lot of New England guys, that I would want a good one-on-one match with. Not again, not just disregarding anyone, but I'd want to reach like levels and be happy, of one day when I finally put my boots away, be like, I'm happy I got to wrestle that person.
So, have you ever had a moment that has humbled you in a good way?
I was down at SPO, and I had a match, and I'm very critical. Like you said, my big goal is to eventually get that contract. After every match, I'm always asking, like, how was it? Where can I improve? And it was Tommy Grayson who pulled me to the side and said, listen, like, if something was horrible, we would have let you know. If something's bad, we would let you know. Just, like, trust your work, all that stuff. And, I always beat myself up after my matches, knowing I could have done better. But I think that calming me down and seeing, again, like, how far I've made it, even though, like, I want more, it made me happy.
And what is a match or a moment that stuck with you longer than you expected it to?
A match or a moment. I think me doing my first suicide dive is a moment that will stick with me forever because I've practiced it, but I never done it, and I did it for the first time, and it looked great.
So going back, how you said you kind of beat yourself up after your matches when things don't exactly go the way you thought or they could have gone better. But when things do get like that, where do you go like mentally and how do you come back from that? How do you pull yourself out of beating yourself up?
Another day, another dollar. You know, I'm gonna have probably, I might have 100 matches this year. I'm gonna have another 100 next year. And it ain't over till I say it's over. So I know I'm gonna get another chance to redeem myself. I mean, look at some of these top guys. They have hundreds, thousands of matches. And I'm still like just over 100 matches. So I know like early on, not everything's gonna be perfect, but like later on, I'm gonna look back and be like, wow, like it wasn't that bad, or whatever, or like now I know where I could improve, or like, hey, I was still young, I was still early, I was still learning.
So let's get a little bit more into your identity and the evolution of All Go Nelly. So when did All Go Nelly start feeling like a real identity and more than just a character to you?
I think he started feeling like a more real identity when I finally realized, like, people kind of like all goes kind of like you get what you see, you get that hype energy guy, and like you gotta live that, you can't have moments of downness, you can't have moments of sadness, you just gotta keep going, keep pushing through, keep being the tough guy.
So how much of that energy is natural versus something that you've built?
A lot of it's natural, a lot of it, I just, whatever comes to mind, I do.
And what parts of yourself have you had to grow into to become All Go Nelly?
I think, like me taking away from being like trying to be this high flyer that I'm not really am. I'll do go to the top, I'll go to the second, some springboards now and then, but tapping more into like my strength and my amateur style, I think it's been more of.
And what do you feel separates you from everybody else trying to rise right now?
I think that's what separates me is being 5'6", and small weighted guy, but being able to do like a lot of these strong stuff, and again, just having like that energy. Like it's tough to say like who is all. He's like, well, he's a super happy guy, that's a lot of people, but it's when he steps in the room, it's just different.
So when all is said and done after a match, how do you slow down yourself mentally, like on the drive home or when you get home?
Yeah, you gotta. Definitely like after the match, you gotta take a breath in. You're still running off adrenaline. Um, on the drive home, find some calm, relaxing music, and when I get home, I tend to sit in my car for a little bit, and then I'll go in, do whatever I gotta do, and then go to bed.
And how do you deal with burnout or exhaustion?
Burnout or exhaustion, you just gotta find some time in your week, you know, change it up, make it different. You gotta do something, to just something somewhere, uh, just something that's gonna take the mind off things.
So, what is something that people don't understand about staying consistent?
I think like just being able to take care of yourself mentally and physically is super important.
So at some point in everybody's career, everybody deals with doubts or some sort of false or negative
Still
feelings
got me over
towards
there?
them or their. I'm sorry?
Sorry, I think I'm having trouble hearing you.
Can you hear me now? Are we good now?
Oh, I can't hear you.
All right, let me try something real quick. How about now? Still not working?
I don't know why I can't.
All right, give me 1 second. I'm gonna back out and I'll come back in and see if it'll work. All right, how about now? Are you still there? Can you hear me now? Oh no. Um, let's see. If you can't hear me, crap. um, my apologies, everybody. Technical difficulties. But he shall be right back, hopefully. In worst case scenario, we will revisit this at another time. But let's give him a chance to try and come back in. In the meantime, while that's happening, we do still have our pre-orders available for merch. So if you are looking to get a Smoke and Meteoras t-shirt or a hoodie, those are still available for pre-order. We will be accepting pre-orders until the 28th, if you're interested in those. All right, can you hear me now? Oh, his stuff's loading. All right. Can you hear me now? Now I can't hear you. Nope. Oh dear. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, that's all set. So it's working. There we go. I hear it. But you're muted. I heard it right when you were going to mute. All right.
Bad.
Can hear you now. We're good. All right. Getting back into it. Where was I? So how do you handle doubt when it sneaks up? Oh, and now I can't hear you again. Oh dear. Yep. Think.
All right, yeah. The way I handle doubt, I just kind of tell myself, you got this. Let's go for a drive. Let's just figure it out.
And what is something wrestling has forced you to learn about yourself?
I'm sorry. Now I didn't even understand what you said. I heard you, but I didn't understand what you said.
What is something that wrestling has forced you to learn about yourself?
It sounds kind of squeaky. Like it sounds like you're speaking really fast.
Oh no. All right, hold on a second.
Right on me now.
Okay. What is something wrestling has forced you to learn about yourself?
Maybe that will help.
I'm like, I can't hear anything or see you at all now either.
I'm gonna leave one more time.
All right. Technical difficulties, everybody. Don't mind us. But he will rejoin in a second. I don't know if it's a service issue or if my services are just not wanting to work today. This is not the day to not. Booted me out of my own podcast. All right.
I feel like this is good. One more time. We got it.
So, what is something wrestling has forced you to learn about yourself?
Figure out where I really want to be and who I truly want to surround myself with. I feel like between working here for as a wrestler and working, with your shoot job, you got to find who's going to support you.
So, looking towards the future, what are you building right now?
The Go Nation. I'm trying to find my Go Army, trying to build a fan base.
So, what is something that you want to accomplish in the near future, or whether that be wrestle certain people or whatever it be by the end of the year?
I'm trying to bring a pro wrestling show to DC, to Washington, DC.
Hell yeah. And what does making it mean to you, if anything?
Stein to one of the big ones: MLW, TNA, AEW, New Japan, WWE, AAA, CML, wherever.
All right. Well, that is all of the big beefy questions. But now I got the really, really important ones.
Let's go.
So, if you could instantly master one completely useless skill, what are you choosing?
Play every instrument in the world.
All right. If your personality had a scent, what would it be?
Lavender.
Ooh, I like lavender. All right. You are opening a food truck. What are you selling and what are you calling it?
I'm opening a what? Sorry?
A food truck.
Burritos.
Hell yeah. What is something that you are proud of that has nothing to do with wrestling?
You broke up again. Try and say it a little bit slower. I almost had it. What is something I want to...
What is something you are proud of that has nothing to do with wrestling?
I'm sorry. I just can't make out the last bit. I'm so sorry about this.
Something it has nothing to do with wrestling. Something you're proud of that has nothing to do with wrestling.
I keep hearing French fry at the end. That's why I'm like, I don't think she's talking about French fries.
No.
Yeah, it sounds like the squeaky voice again. I'm sorry.
So, something you are proud of that has nothing to do with wrestling.
Uh, uh,
Oh dear. StreamYard's giving me problems. No. All right, we'll try this one more time. Or not. I'm sorry, everybody at home, for all the technical difficulties. We will try and have him join in one more time, and if things do not go as planned, we may have to cut this one short, but I will definitely bring him back. All right. Can we hear me
there we
now?
go.
All
Yeah, I
right.
can hear. I'm so sorry about this. I hope it's not my connection.
It's okay. So, what is something that you are proud of that has nothing to do with wrestling?
Oh, okay. Definitely not with French fries. Something I'm proud of. I ran a half marathon with barely any training.
Oh. And what is something people don't expect about you until they meet you?
I'm a biology major.
I didn't know that. That's pretty cool too.
Thank
So,
you.
all right. We have reached the last segment of my podcast, and it is a segment I like to call Promo Roulette.
Promo roulette!
All right. So usually this works a different way, but because this was a last minute addition, I'm going to be picking the cartoon character that you are shooting a promo on today. And you did give me a couple of shows, so I know who you're familiar with. But I think I'm going to go with Mr. Hanky the Christmas Poop from South Park.
Promo can be on anything.
It's got to be on Mr. Hanky. So
Mr.
you're
Hanky.
cutting a
All right.
promo on Mr. Hanky.
All right. How long do I have?
However long you need.
All right. Cool. I got it. All right. You ready?
Whenever you are.
If you know I'll go Nelly, he works 24/7. If you know Mr. Hanky, he only works one day a year, and that's Christmas time. While I respect you, sir, working on the holiday, you could never, ever do what All Go Nelly does. See, I don't just deliver joy one day a year. I give joy to every single person 24/7, 365, no days off. You know who I am. Mr. Hanky, you couldn't lace my boots. Not because you're so short, but just because you can never ever be like All Go. So go ahead, wrap your Christmas presents. Go ahead and put your lights around the tree or whatever.
Oh no. I think we lost him. That was a great promo. That was going great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, now you're back. Okay. Well, that is everything that I have for you today. So, with that being said, I will be back today at 5 p.m. with Sebastian Braun. And with that being said, I need a new character for him to be shooting a promo on. You can pick
Sorry, my bad.
any character.
My bad. I can't hear you again with the squeaky noise. Oh, it's crazy. I'm sorry. If you're asking where my social media is, it's all underscore go
_Nelly. Thank you so much for having me. This was a really great podcast.
Absolutely.
Despite
Thank
theirs.
you. Technical difficulties happen, but it is what it is. But thank you again to Nelli for joining us. We will be back later on today at 5 p.m. with Sebastian Braun. And that is all we have for you. We'll catch you at 5. Have a good one, guys.